Oh, the thing's big. Okay, so here's the deal. Because I make videos on YouTube, I get sent a bunch of like random stuff. And in this video, there's actually one product that is pretty cool, but I don't have a ton of experience using it. So instead of like a formal review of this product, I would just tell you what my experience is like using it. So this is what we are talking about. This is the Procolored F13 Panda DTF printer. And DTF is another printing process that is really popular, especially with fabrics. In my case, it is going to be shirts. Now, I have actually done screen printing in the past. Let me walk you over to where that is living. That is that guy right there, which I use with a laser. And we're gonna come to the laser, which is right there. But like screen printing is pretty hard because you have to use one screen per color. So in my case, I only did like a 3-color print on a t-shirt. But if you want to do something with a bunch of different colors, DTF is one of the options. And DTF printers are cool because you can do full color setups, and it actually prints out on these sheets that are on this guy right here. So I'm just gonna like basically take you through the process of putting together some of these prints and tell you the things that I like and maybe some of the things that I don't like about this process in general. And DTF is kind of like a step up from iron-on printing if you have experience with that. With this, we are actually going to print out our graphics. We're going to put some white powder glue behind it, which is weird. That is that thing right there. And then finally, we've got a heat press right there, which we will use to actually get the graphic on whatever we want to use. In this case, it's going to be sure. All right, so for my case, I'm literally finding a lot of my graphics just off of Etsy, but you could also just like find them yourself. Now, really the only drawback about the system that I've seen so far is the fact that you have to use a PC, so there is no Mac version. You just bring your graphic in, size it however you want. And you can actually see I have done a few other things, including this like Taylor Swift style princess shirt for my daughter. Now that we've got this thing running, let me give you a tour of this machine. So there is our print head. You can actually see what we're printing out right there. And so you actually have to put in quite a bit of ink, and that is stored right inside of here. So you've got your cyan, magenta, black, yellow, and then white. And then what is interesting about this process is, so you can see our colors going down at the top, and then it's coming back and putting a white layer on top of it. So we're actually gonna have white on the back, which is like the key reason you're gonna get the really rich colors, so you're not seeing the color of the shirt bleeding through. Another cool aspect about this process is the film or the paper you're printing on is all on one big roll, that once the graphic is done, we'll actually cut it. There's a blade right here, and so you'll cut it off. It's not like paper you're putting through, it's just like a continuous roll that's going all the way through. So this just wrapped up, and I am going to use the buttons on the side. Just gonna let me push this through a little bit further. Now that we've got that done, hopefully you can see a little bit better what I was talking about. So we've got the white on the back, but then if we flip it around, we have our full color print. But now the second step of the process is putting glue on the back of this, which involves us using their powdered glue, which is going to be in this guy, as well as our oven right here, which has a few different settings where you can set the temp and then the amount of time that you want it to bake, and they give you a few recommendations. And then from there, we're gonna move to our heat press, which I need to turn on and get heating up to actually put our shirt on it. And as we are waiting for this to heat up, I actually have this in Celsius, and I'm just using the settings for the glue, and so I think it had like 130 Celsius, which then you can hit set. So it's slowly going up. And then if I hit come down here, this is gonna be the timer once it's done, and then give you this little plunger guy, which allows you to touch it without burning yourself on this hot plate that is right there. We are almost there, but before we put this in here, we actually need to put glue on our print, which gets us to this guy right here. So the process for this is actually pretty straightforward. So all we are doing is we are taking our design in here. I'm just getting some of the powder form of the glue, and then I'm just running it over the actual design to make sure everything gets nice and coated. And then I'm just gonna make sure all of that gets off. Open this guy up, drop this in with the glue facing up, and then hit count down. And then once we did that, you can see we've got our timer going down from 200. And then once that's done, we are going to be moving over to our actual heat press. And so I already have our shirt set up, ready to go. Comes with a couple of like cushion guys, I guess, that you put underneath to keep it from bleeding through. And they've got this bigger one as well. But the heat press is actually pretty straightforward. So you have two settings on it as well, which is this dial right here. And so you can adjust it. So the LED is not super bright, but basically if you twist it to the right, you can adjust the temperature. So I'm gonna do it at 320. And then if you adjust it to the left, you can adjust the time. And everything is good to go. And then once I have everything on there, I just hit it again, and then it'll actually lower the actual heat press. We're gonna go ahead and call that good enough. I'm just kind of guessing all the numbers anyway. And we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in our design. Make sure everything is lined up the way I want it. That's actually upside down. Then I'm gonna hit this button. What's nice about this guy is this will actually raise back up after our 30 seconds. So unlike the oven where you have to manually pull that out, this will take the heat off automatically for you, which is really handy. Also, they really like their big old panda face on pretty much everything. All right, just finished. Now it's gonna raise up. I'm gonna give this a few minutes to cool down, and then we're gonna come back and peel this off. All right, so it's been a few minutes, and now I'm gonna do my best to peel the design off. All right, and with that, we've got a full color shirt. So we have a successful shirt, well, mostly successful. I actually had some of these little pieces not completely stick, and that's what I'm actually finding with this process. There are a lot of different variables that you can adjust. The main ones being the temperature and time on the oven, the temperature and time on the press, and then something I think I did wrong last time was I let the ink basically dry on my print before I put in the glue. So we're actually going to print a brand new design and try this again. Now while I'm waiting for this to print, a couple other things that are super handy with this comes with maintenance. If you guys have printers, you know they get clogged up a ton. This can actually auto clean the print head if you leave it on. So every like 10 hours, it goes through a cleaning process. And then you can do some like traditional cleaning methods as well. And then specifically for the white ink, they actually have a process that circulates that ink to keep it fresh, to keep things also from clogging and sticking, which is handy and pretty cool to see. And if I open this up, you can actually see that circulator right there to be able to circulate that white ink. You definitely do go through that faster than all the other colors. You can see I'm already down a little bit right there. Again, because you're always doing a white backing on your entire design. And it looks like we're getting pretty close to being done with round 2. All right, going straight from the printer into our glue. All right, and from here, we're gonna go right into the oven. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my press. So that basically like right when I take that out, I can go right to this. We'll see if that helps too. All right, that is good to go. And now we just move it to our shirt. Let's see if this does any better. Okay, that looks good. Letters are really, oh, sweet. All right, it got pretty close. I definitely placed this way too high, and there's still a few other things I can do to dial in this process. Now, what's cool about using a machine like this is it's great for like small batch stuff. Now, if you're gonna do like a big run of shirts with just a few colors, then screen printing is still gonna be the way to go. It's gonna be a lot faster. But if you need to do a small batch of like full color custom graphics or even like a one-off shirt. Now, since this video is sponsored, I actually sent this to the manufacturer, and there were a few settings I actually had wrong. So we're doing another quick test, so I wanted to show you some of the things they recommended. All right, so pulling this out of the oven, one of the things they wanted me to watch out for was to make sure you're getting some like orange peeling or like alligator skin, so you kind of see that texture in there, actually right there in that reflection, to show that the glue is actually melted. Now we're gonna go drop this straight onto the heat press. I've actually upped my temperature a little bit on the heat press. All right, this is mostly cooled down, so let's go ahead and take this guy off. All right, it is looking pretty good. We're gonna do one final press just with a piece of parchment paper for not quite as long. All right, taking that off. All right, that seemed to do the trick. One other thing I did do is, I think I was putting on too much glue, so I was actually running it several times through powder. So I did a thinner powder so it had a better chance to fully melt. Now, if you're interested in checking this system out, there is a link down below. And if you like this more like informal style, figure it out video, let me know down in the comments. All right, until next time, go make or break something in your shop. See you guys.